Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is a bit of a touchy subject for me, but something that I think that everyone needs to know about. It's Endometriosis Awareness Month in March, and I'm wearing yellow for it. If you don't know what endometriosis is, this is what this video is about. I want to raise awareness, let people know, if they feel like they have the symptoms, to get themselves checked out. I want them to take something away from this video that will help them in the future, if that makes any sense. So if I keep looking down, it's because I've got some notes here that I wanted to talk to you about and give you as much information as I can, and also talk about my experience as well. So basically, my name's Zoe, as you can tell by my YouTube name. I'm 28 and I have endometriosis stage 4, which is the basic highest stage you can get with it. There's not much else to say about it apart from that. 1 in 10 women in the UK alone are affected by endometriosis, and it's not something that is taught in schools at the minute. I do know, well, I don't know them, but I know of a person who has actually gone to Parliament to get it sorted so that it will get done. So who knows, in the future we could get more awareness from that, so younger girls can actually get the symptoms sorted earlier. I'll tell you a bit about some of the usual symptoms that you can get. Painful or heavy periods, irregular periods. You can get pain after or during sexual intercourse. Infertility is a big one. Painful bowel movements, fatigue, and other symptoms that you can get, but they're not confined to are depression, anxiety, back, leg and pelvic pains, bleeding from the bowel, diarrhea, constipation, bloating and prolonged bleeding. As of yet, no one knows exactly what causes endometriosis, but there are several theories about the cause of it, but none are fully explain how or why it can occur. It's possible that a combination of the following factors that I'm going to give you can cause the development of endometriosis in some women, but it's not a given fact. So I'll just give you some of the stuff. Retrograde menstruation is one of them, and that is when a period happens and the lining of the womb, which is the endometrium, flows backwards and out of the fallopian tubes and into the abdomen, and this tissue then implants itself and grows in the pelvis, which basically makes all your bits stick together. It becomes very, very painful. That's one of the things I actually have. Genetic predisposition. This basically means, and it's not something that can be blamed on anybody, but it basically means that endo, as we call it, can be passed down in your genes from generations. So no one in your family that you know of might have it, but your great grandma could have had it, and it's just been passed down, and unfortunately you might be the one that has it. So there's no way to actually really tell, because you can't really go and ask your mum or your gran to go and have surgery just to get checked out. So yeah, anyway, the lymphatic or circulatory spread is when the endotissue particles are thought to somehow travel around the body through the lymphatic system or in the bloodstream. Your immune dysfunction. Sometimes the immune system is unable to fight off endometriosis. Environmental causes for endometriosis, such as certain toxins like dioxin, can affect the body and the immune system and the reproductive system. And I can't pronounce this very well, metaplasia I think is the word. This is the process where one type of cell changes or morphs into another. This usually occurs in response to their surrounding circumstances to better adapt to their environment. Basically, the only way you can get diagnosed for endometriosis is to have a laparoscopy, or laparoscopy, however you say it. I actually can never say it. That's basically when a camera gets inserted into your abdomen and they have a look around and see. That's what I had done. It wasn't a pretty sight when I saw the pictures. They also did, I can't remember the actual term for it, but they basically burnt the inside of my stomach to get rid of some of the bits that they could. It won't get rid of it. It's not curable. I still have it. Some days are better than others, and I will have to have more surgery again and continue to have surgery for probably the rest of my life. So yes, it is not nice. Scans and blood tests and internal examinations are also part of it, but those things aren't something that can diagnose it. You do need the surgery to have the diagnosis properly. But again, I'm constantly having scans, blood tests, examinations, and it's just part of the deal, unfortunately, for me anyway. Everybody is different. So don't take what I'm saying as, oh, I'm going to have this, I'm going to have to do that. It's not that. Everybody is different. My symptoms might be more severe than someone I know down the street, but then another person can have symptoms that are worse than mine but have the same stage as me. It just depends on your body and who you are as a person. As I said, there is no cure currently. Surgery, pain relief, hormone treatments can help ease the pain in some cases. Unfortunately, that isn't the case for me. My symptoms started off around 2010, 2011. My periods had always been regular. I was on the pill from 16. I had no problem. Everyone was like, oh, you don't know how painful periods are. And I was like, my periods aren't painful. They're regular. They come when they should. They go when they should. But then I came off the pill and I didn't have a period for near on 6 months. So constant pregnancy tests, etc. all came back wrong. Well, not wrong, but negative. Kept going to the doctors, IBS, and basically just saying everything under the sun that they thought it could be. And then eventually, come 2014, it got to the point where my periods were that bad that I was actually fainting. I was struggling to breathe sometimes. It stopped me from doing quite a lot of things, and I went to the doctors and I said, look, I've looked up online on Google, you really shouldn't do that. I was like, I don't think I'm dying, but I want to get tested for endometriosis. So luckily the doctor I was seeing was actually really nice and understanding, and he got me a gynecology appointment. I went and had my first scan, internal and external. They told me that, you know, I had cysts and everything else. 2015 December, I actually had the surgery, and let me tell you, it was painful. I'm scarred for life, like physically, but you know, to know that what I have is an actual disease and it's an invisible illness, as it's called, and it's not all in my head like people try to say it is, because it really isn't, then I'm glad I did it. And like I say, I do need to have more surgery in the future, but as for now, it's not something I really want to have done. I'd rather do other things. Like I say, my diagnosis was from the surgery, and yeah, I still keep having to have treatment. I currently take something called Solpadol for the pain. It's a very good painkiller. Other stuff really doesn't work on me when I have my really bad days. If I have just slight twinges here and there, I'll take paracetamol, but I avoid ibuprofen or ibuprofen, however you want to say it. And there's not much more I can actually say on that. You know, I had, you know, I spoke about infertility earlier, and out of the blue last year I randomly became pregnant. And it's not random, I'm not Mary, I didn't give birth to Jesus. But unfortunately I did lose the baby, and that is just something that can happen to anybody with perfect health. I understand that, but it's just yeah, it's not nice. And anyone who's watching this that is going through the same thing, whether it be, you know, you just had a miscarriage and that's just one of the things that had happened, or if you have endometriosis and that's happened to you, please feel free to comment, message me, and we can have our own little endo community, and let's just try and get this awareness of endometriosis put out there and try and help other people that are struggling, and for the future basically. I used to do a lot of cheerleading and dancing competitively. I now don't do that anymore. Part of that is due to my age, because I just feel like cheerleading, definitely there's a time when you have to stop, and as for dancing, I just don't have the energy for it anymore. This is due to endometriosis. I just get tired very, very easily. I can have an onset of pain. I could be fine walking around the supermarket, I come home, start making dinner, and I can then be doubled over in pain. It's just unfortunately how it is. To keep myself active, I do try and go to the gym as often as I can, so that's something that you could do if you have endometriosis. Obviously do not push yourself by any means. If you feel like you're having a bad day, you are having a bad day. Do not sit there and say, well, if I don't do it, this is going to happen, and I don't want people to think this about me. That's just, your health comes first. I do feel better when I've been to the gym. I feel more tired, but mentally I feel better because I suffer from anxiety and depression. It's not something that I actually had before, or I didn't think I had it before, but the onset of everything and the things that have happened in the past 7 years due to endometriosis, it's just slightly come on. At the minute I don't work. I do things to keep myself occupied, and I'm doing my best to try and get back into work, but the job I had I just couldn't do anymore. So, you know, that's just how it is, unfortunately. And I don't want people to sit there and think, well, you don't work, you're just lazy. I'm really not. I'm not a lazy person. And if people who know me now knew me 10, 12 years ago, they would see how very, very different that I am. And that's what upsets me a lot, when people just see me as I am now. I'm very different from the person I used to be, and that's, again, that's just me. Other people just get on with it. But unfortunately for me, it's changed me quite a lot. But we will remain positive, upbeat, and we will beat this thing. I don't get the cure because I don't know how to cure it, but up here we need to stay positive, because that makes, in here, I'm pointing to my belly, not better, but if you remained physically and mentally positive, then good things come. And that made no sense, but I know what I'm trying to say. Did you get what I'm trying to say? I don't know. But yes, my other hobbies include reading and doing these YouTube videos, which I don't think anybody actually watches, so if you are watching this, thank you. But yes, if I had to describe endometriosis, it would be debilitating, it would be life-changing, and thirdly, it would be evil. It is evil. It's like Satan has crawled into my womb and destroyed it. That's the only way I can explain it. It's hell in there. But, you know, that's just how it is. But yeah, like I say, endometriosis comes with a lot of fallbacks, but infertility being my main one, because I've always wanted to be a mum, and I don't want to get upset about it. I've always wanted to be a mum, and I feel like that's been taken away from me. but you've got to stay strong, stay positive, and if it's meant to be, it will happen. But for now, I have my fur baby and I love him to bits. So yes, if any endometriosis has taught me anything, is that not everybody, even family, will stick around, and people don't always listen. Although they say they do, they really don't. But it's also taught me that I am strong. I am tougher than I ever thought I could be, especially in the past year or so the things I've had to go through. I never thought it had happened to me, and I thought that if anything like that would happen to me, I'd break down. And don't get me wrong, there's nights now where I still cry myself to sleep because I'm just overthinking things, and I think, well, this could be this way by now, and it's just how it is. But I'm stronger than I ever thought I could be. So yes, but let's end it on a positive note, and that is that I am thankful for the people that have stuck around, that do take the time to understand what I'm going through and what other people like me, or the people who have endometriosis, suffer with. It's nice that people will actually take the time to listen and go out their way to find out more information. And my advice to anybody else out there who has endometriosis, or you think that you might have endometriosis, get yourself checked out. Don't take no for an answer. It's your body, you know what you feel like, and the doctors can only do so much, but it's also up to you to push for it. That's what I had to do, and I'm glad I did. But I just want you all to know that we can beat this together, and yeah, let's keep going and pushing for awareness for the future, and let's not let endometriosis beat us, okay? So yeah, thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you all again soon.